I got 1.5 million views on a video on Instagram talking about the respect I have for my children's stepfather. I never would have imagined something like that would have happened. I'm an artist, I'm a musician, so obviously over the years I've tried really, really hard to get people to care about things that I post. But for some reason or another, and only the future will have the answers about why that worked. For some reason or another, man, that one went off. And it got me talking in this series, which I'm glad you're watching. It's called Confessions of a Failed Family Man. I am MRK SX. Thank you for stopping by. If you're listening, please subscribe. If you are watching, please subscribe, like, share, click the button, all of the cool things that makes the algorithm. Thank you so much for being here for whatever reason you're here. The way I kicked off that story was to tell the watcher how I was at my son's high school graduation and I had to share that moment with his stepfather. And while I use that as an example for how I set things up, I'm going to tell you the story of the exact moment that made me wake up to appreciate this man and get out of my own way. Put a pin in that. I didn't enjoy my childhood. I didn't enjoy it at all. There were moments that I did feel love and that I did feel loved. I'm certain that the adults around me did love me. I'm certain that they did their best with me. I'm certain. What I do not remember is anybody stepping between me and the world and saying, not this one. The emotion that I'm connected to the most when I think about my childhood is fear. I never felt safe as a child, ever. I watched violent things happen to my mom. My aunt was brutally murdered. At 6 years old, there was a lady found in a trash can behind the house that I had to walk past by myself to go to school every day. This was crack era, shots ringing out, you hit the floor, jumped in the bathtub. These types of things were normal. Listen to me and listen to me good. This is not a victim narrative. And my city wasn't unlike a lot of other cities out there. This is not me trying to give you a valid street story. This ain't that. Okay? Back to my story. So I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it at all. In fact, when I think about when my aunt got murdered, the thing that stands out to me the most was how at the funeral I was sitting alone because of all the adults that were supposed to be taking care of me were busy taking care of their own pain. Then life just kind of went on. I spent a lot of time by myself as a kid. I say all of this to say that when I found out I was going to have a child, man, I was like Nettie and Celie in the color purple. Nothing could keep me from it. You dig? Absolutely nothing. I'm going to be at everything. I'm going to break my neck to be at everything. These kids will know from the jump that between whatever the world had going on and them, Pops was standing there. He was fully involved and ready to do whatever it took to protect them. I can still remember to this day my oldest son when he was maybe 5 or 6 and he was playing soccer and he made a goal. I still haven't been as happy as that moment before or after. Man, I love those guys. Then I had another son. I had the nerve to have another son. And it was the same thing. I'd do anything for those guys. I love those guys. So, in a story I'll get into some other time, during one of the most selfish points of my life, myself and their mother broke up. We had a divorce. I had already moved on. I was with another woman and she had children. And my children were now around those children. We was off and running. I was out of my mind, okay? More on that another time. After a few years, their mom asks me if it's okay if I meet this gentleman. To which I said, what I'm gonna meet him for? I wasn't with it. She said, fine. A couple months later, she came back again. Listen, he really wants to meet you, because he's around the boys. And I said, look, why is he gonna marry you or something? This is me, arrogant. She says, fine. They get married. I see him here and there. What's up, man? Shake his hand or whatever. But it was always really short interactions. I mean, who is this dude, right? Then it started happening. My sons would come over, and when it was my time, they'd have little things with them, little buttons, little gadgets, hats, different things. Man, that's cool. Where you get it from? Oh, Brandon gave it to me. Oh, Brandon showed that to me. We'd be watching something, and they'd be like, oh, I know where that is. Yeah, we went there with Brandon. It just started kind of piling up over the years as the years went by. Unfortunately, the first way I felt was jealous. So what? Then my young son wants to do karate now. All of a sudden, he wants to do karate. I don't know it at the time, but he's inspired by Brandon because Brandon is like a jiu-jitsu. I don't know what belt he is in jiu-jitsu, but it's close to mastery. They're fishing, they're hiking. And then Brandon was taking my kids to Korea, South Korea. And I remember before my oldest son, the way it was set up, long story short, they staggered in the trip. I'll just leave it there. My oldest son was leaving first. And he didn't have a case for his phone, so I took him to buy a case for his phone. And as we sitting there, talking and laughing with the clerk, she says, what do you need this for? He says, oh, I'm going to Korea with my stepdad. And man, something went through my spine like a damn fire. Man, here we go, bro. I'm tired of hearing about this dude. But he never did anything to me. And it was around that time I started saying, man, y'all really like Buddy, huh? Y'all really like him. And they like, yeah, he cool. Like, he's Brandon, All right, cool. You guys, I'm ashamed of how long this went on. This went on for some years, okay? Now, my son does jiu-jitsu, and we are at a jiu-jitsu tournament, okay? And I don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, y'all. Absolutely nothing. I was probably mistakenly calling jiu-jitsu karate for a long time. Anyhow, so this is my son's first jiu-jitsu tournament. This is exciting. There's mats all over the place. If you ever been in one of these, this is a lot of activity. It's a lot of energy. It's a lot going on. Also, what's going on is that every kid has a coach, right? Whether it be from their dojo or whatever it is. And I assumed that my son's dojo was there. No. This was an independent situation. So I'm watching my son out there on the mat, getting put in these moves and in these holds with his head upside down, with his neck on the mat. I don't know what to tell him. But you know who was telling him what to do? Brandon. And he was listening to Brandon. And he was getting out of those moves and he was winning those matches. And that's when I realized, man, you just upset because nobody was there for you, G. You gotta let that shit go. He loved them dudes, man. Where would you be if men came to your graduation? Where would you be if a man showed up? If a man showed up for you when you were going through basic training? What would you be if a man pulled up on you at any of those bases just to check you out? So like I said before, Brandon, I appreciate you, bro. I'll see y'all tomorrow.